want candy or ice cream? What am I saying? Obviously ice cream. It's a classic.
Hey, Kermit, you want some astronaut ice cream?
Sure, I love that stuff.
I know, it's great. Now, did you know that astronaut ice cream almost made it to space in 1968? Yeah, actually, the history of freeze-drying is fascinating. Food preservation is a huge part of human history. Think smoking, canning, dehydrating, and yes, even freeze-drying. There is evidence in the Andes Mountains of early freeze-drying. But the modern freeze-drying that we think of today started around the early 40s and 50s with medicine. Viruses were freeze-dried in order to test them. But that same technology was then used by places for camping, hiking, and other freeze-drying for daily use. In the 1950s and 60s, NASA turned their attention to space food. Any food in space had to fit 5 criteria. It had to be crumb-free so that it didn't hurt machinery, lightweight, easy to prepare, require no refrigeration, and be nutritiously dense so that astronauts could go about doing their jobs. The first food in space wasn't actually freeze-dried. In 1961, when Yuri Gagarin went into space, he ate something of a pureed meat in basically a toothpaste tube. And in 1962, when John Glenn went, he ate a pureed beef and vegetable medley in an aluminum tube. And so you can see there's a lot of improvements to be made for food that could be nutritious and taste good to astronauts, which is why NASA turned to freeze-drying. Freeze-drying in its simplest form is a dehydration of frozen foods. A food will be cooled to the point where every part of it is solid ice. Then, by lowering the pressure and increasing the temperature, that ice is turned directly into gas in a process called sublimation. About 95% of food's water molecules exit the food during that stage. The final step, adsorption, raises the temperature even further and eliminates the rest of the water. That's what makes these foods so great for space. Without water, they become much lighter, but retain their nutritional value. Freeze-drying really has improved the shelf life of food, making it so that in space, food could last for up to 3 years or more. And thanks to NASA's many food innovations, we have all these incredible technologies like improved baby formulas, better packaging for our food, and improved safety systems, such as the Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point, the HACCP system.
But what about that incredible astronaut ice cream? Well, a rudimentary form of it did appear on the 1968 Apollo 7 mission. But reports that it was too crumbly means it likely didn't make it into space.
Regardless of actual consumption in space, this did give the Goddard Air and Space Museum an idea. And so they went to the American Outdoor Products and asked them to create the astronaut ice cream we know and love today.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of Relatable Space. To see more space food, visit us at the New Mexico Museum of Space History, or check out our YouTube channel, Galactic Lifestyle.